Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for lending me your ears. Now, today I want to talk about virtual meetings. Pushing a little further into the topic of engagement, I really want to talk about how do we get people to participate in a virtual meeting. As we all know, this pandemic has caused people to go online, and now we're having to have these conversations, and it's not face-to-face. And sometimes you wonder if people are really tuned in to the actual conversation. So how can we ensure that the engagement rate is there? One study showed that when the camera is on, people engage at 80 to 90% more. But when the camera's off, they engage at like 40, 42%. So we want to make sure, first of all, that the camera's on. But once we have the camera on, how do we get them to lean forward and pay attention? Well, I think I have a couple of options for you to consider. First of all, let's try this. Let's get everyone to contribute something in the end. Or at the end, we want everybody to contribute. Here's how you're going to do it. First of all, when you're setting up the meeting, kind of begin to condition people by telling the folks who are going to attend the meeting that at the end of the meeting, everybody, has to contribute, option one, contribute at least one idea to whatever discussion was being had. This is important because if you're forcing everybody to do at least one item to discuss, then all of a sudden they're going to start thinking, okay, I better think of something because they're going to ask me at the end, so I better be prepared with something. And you'll notice a radical difference in people leaning in forward, to have a conversation or listen in to see how they can actually contribute at the end. So begin by priming them with something that they'll have to contribute at the end. By the way, you can put a top spin on this thing by saying, hey, we want you to contribute something, but also contribute something of significance. In other words, a particular insight. Don't just give us a simple answer or just say, what he said, what Victor said is a good idea. That's kind of what I was going to say. Have everybody literally contribute. Another way of doing it is to have everybody write down one idea at the end of the meeting. Again, the way you use this approach and the way it's more effective is that nobody gets to hear anybody else's answer. Everybody has to write their idea at the same time. Now, if by chance some are similar, that's okay. But imagine saying something like this. All right, it's the end of the meeting. Now, what I want everybody to do is break out a sheet of paper, even if you're at home or local, whatever, face-to-face, break out a sheet of paper. And what I want you to do is write out how you are going to contribute to this conversation. In other words, give your idea a title, right? And then describe what that idea is. And give everybody 3 to 5 minutes for them to do this. Give them time to really develop something, right? 3 to 5 minutes. And then maybe you can go around the table and then get everybody to jump in. So, option number 3. Another way is at the end of the meeting, just like I just mentioned, each person is asked to say something about the meeting or that one thing they found impactful. So in this case, we're not asking for a contribution. We want their feedback. What did you find impactful about this conversation or about this meeting? This gets everyone to think about what they have to say and how they're going to contribute. Nobody wants to feel like they're going to say something stupid, right? So everybody's really going to be into the conversation. And if you really want to really push this further, why don't you make it a competition? Best idea. For example, let's just throw this out there. Just putting it out there, just to kind of make it fun. Let's gamify this thing a little bit. What if we say, okay, at the end of the meeting, each person is asked to say something about the meeting and something they found impactful or profound, something that impacted them and why. Let them explain it. And then whoever the leader is, or if you want to be democratic about it, the leader can decide, or you can be democratic and do a vote. I would just let the leader decide and go forward on that one. But maybe it could be something as simple as, a Starbucks card, right? This doesn't have to be something expensive. It could be a $5, $10 gift. But again, just adding these little things, gamification allows people to kind of just, have more fun. Let a little levity come into your meetings. Have a little fun with them. So again, set this up by telling your group that at the end of the meeting, everyone has to contribute at least one idea, and they can speak up. Option 2, they could write it down, and then we'll go around the table and see what's what. or simply at the end of the meeting, option 3, have everybody come up with one thing they learned from the meeting, something that was impactful or profound, and if you're daring, let's gamify this thing just a little bit. And that is it for this Sales Influence podcast. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to leave me some feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. I always appreciate what you have to say. Also, check out my online sales training platform, the Sales Velocity Academy. Over 50 courses. Again, 500 plus videos, my books, and the library just continues to grow. So if you're serious about increasing your sales velocity, go to salesvelocityacademy.com. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care.
Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.